All right, second half of 8.2, linear equations in two variables. You already have your vocabulary written. Now let's just quick review for when you see these on the test or the quiz on Friday. When we have this ordered pair, what order do they come in? X, Y, or Y, X?
X, Y.
So we have X, Y. Now if I were to graph this equation and say that was my line, would this ordered pair be on that line? How do I figure that out? Drew?
Substitute 5 for the X and -1 for the Y.
And then solve it. Orders of operations, multiply first. What's -3 times -1?
3.
So 5 plus 3 is?
8.
Does 8 equal 8?
Yes.
Yes. So that ordered pair would be on that line. That one would work. So just a quick review there. We did those. We did the plain old T-chart. Like I showed you today in our homework, all the ones that you've been graphing so far are nice and neat. They're already written in function form or y-intercept form. Okay, it's y all by itself over here on the left side of the equal sign. And then the x is over on the right side of the equal sign, and it has to come right behind the equal sign. And then if there is a number, that follows it. All right? How about if I have y equals 3x plus 0? Do I need to put the 0 right here in this situation? No. You don't need that there. There's a situation like that on your worksheet today. So you don't need the 0 there. That's all you would need was what would be y equals 3x. All right? But you have to make sure that the y is on the left side. It can't be negative. It can't have any numbers with it. And on the right side, right behind the equal sign, we have our x. And behind that, a number, a variable, or excuse me, a number behind the variable. So these, just a quick review. We did these together. Y equals a -2. So on the y, you'd find the -2. Go there. Is that a function?
Yes.
Yes. Here, x equals 3. So on the x-axis, we find the 3.
No.
Is that a function?
No.
No. All right. Good. Memories. Here we go. Rewrite this, please, up to the side of your notes. We have 3x minus 1y equals 2. Now, I want you to put your assumed ones in there. If you have just an x, make it a 1x. If you have just a y, make it a 1y. Put the 1 in there, the assumed ones. Okay, so I just put my assumed 1 in here for this one when I rewrote it over here. Now, like I was saying, I need to get the y all by itself on the left side. So what's the first thing that I'm going to want to red over and move over? The 3x. And how do I move a 3x over here? Right, because this is a positive 3x, so how do I move it?
Subtract it.
Yeah, subtract it, so I move that 3x over here. So now I have a -3x here. I still have my -1y left here. And I still have what behind my x now?
Plus 2.
Good, a +2. Am I done? Good answer. Why not? Exactly. Can't have this -y. So how do I get rid of a -y?
Times it by -1.
Close. Because this is a -1 times y. What's the inverse of times?
Divide.
So we divide it by a -1. And then I get what? Now that turns into a positive 1y. So now I have my plain old y. What do I have to do to this side though? I have to also, since I divided by a -1 on this side, I have to also divide everything over here, every term on that side by a -1. So now what's a -3 over a -1? Okay, just pretend the x isn't there. What is -3 over 1 equal?
+3.
Okay, that turns into a positive 3, and this one has my variable, so I have a positive 3x. Now what is positive 2 divided by negative 1? A negative 2. Circle your answer. We are now done. Because I've got my y all by itself on the left side. Right behind the equal sign on the right side, I have my x, whatever it might be, positive, negative, fraction, whole number. And right behind that, the number, if there is one. Questions on that one? Anything? Nothing? How many thought it was easy? Good. Let's practice. Now let's actually, now that we've rearranged it, let's graph it. And here's our little graph. Now how many numbers do I have to use on this one? 3 or 4? 4 because it's not a fraction. Which ones do you want to use? Same ones we usually use as a group?
2. Yeah.
2, 1, 0, negative 1. All right? So if I put 2 in here for x, what's 3 times 2? What is it? 6. 6 minus 2 is?
4.
Okay. What would I get here for the 1? 1 and?
1.
1.
I heard a couple different answers. Well, what is 3 times 1?
3 minus 2.
3 minus 2 is?
1.
1. Okay. What is, if I use 0, what is 3 times 0 minus 2? 0 minus 2 is a negative 2. Then a negative 1. What is 3 times a negative 1 minus 2? Good, because this is what? What's 3 times a negative 1? Negative 3 minus 2, negative 5. All right? Now go over there and plot your line. Good, you got your straight edges out. I saw a bunch of those going. Nicely done. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. How come mine don't all line up? Look at that. Remember today in your homework, you're like, what happened? Look at, those 3 are lining up nice. But I got one off the line. What in the world? Sydney, what's wrong with my graph?
You graphed it wrong.
What do you mean? I made a mistake?
Yeah.
I don't make mistakes. What'd I do?
You graphed the 1 0.
This one right here is not on there. Which one is that over here that I graphed?
That's 1.
1 and 1? That's not 1 and 1?
That's 1 0.
Ah, it's 1 0. So 1 and 1 would be up here. Oh, user mistake. Okay, so I just graphed that one wrong. I had the right answer, but you graphed it wrong. So you know that you don't have to go back here and look at your numbers. Next one. All right, we don't need to. We already reviewed these. A y equals 4. Is that the horizontal or the vertical one? Y equals 4. Vertical or horizontal?
Horizontal.
Run it.
Right there. X equals negative 3. Right there. All right, let's get those out of the way and go to the fun stuff again. Okay, rewrite number 5 off to the side, please. With your assumed 1s in there. So 1x minus 2y equals 4. What do I want to move first?
1x.
Okay, how would I do that? That is correct. How do I do it? Yes, this needs to be red rovered, so I need to subtract my 1x to both sides. That eliminates it here. Now I have a negative 2y here equals what on this side? 4 minus 1x?
No.
Negative
1x plus 4.
No, it'd be
Okay,
3.
1x plus 4, like that?
Negative.
Right, negative. Don't forget your negative sign. So negative 1x plus 4. Now what do I do? Divide by what? Divide everything by what? Everything by a negative 2? So what is negative 2 divided by a negative 2?
1.
Sweet. Now we have our 1y or our y equals. Now, just don't look at the x part here. Look at the number part. What is a negative 1 over a negative 2 equal?
0.5.
True, but do we want to work with decimals when we're working on the...
No.
Nope. Leave it as the fraction then. So that equals what?
Negative 1 over
Negative 1/2? Positive 1/2? Which one?
positive.
Good. Negative divided by negative is positive 1/2. So leave it as a 1/2. 1/2 what? X. Don't forget our x. They get to have the x. All right? Then what? What's a positive 4 over a negative 2 equal? Negative 2. Now we're going to do our t-chart. There's our rearranging. It's a fraction. What's the very first one I'm going to use in a fraction?
0.
Excellent. And then I'm going to use the denominator, which is a 2. And then what?
Negative 2.
And the negative. So what is 1/2 times 0?
0.
Minus 2?
Negative 2.
Excellent. 2. What's 1/2 times 2? Times means of. 1/2 of 2 is?
Negative 1.
1/2 of 2 is 1. 1 minus 2 is? Negative 1. Okay? So 1/2 of times 1/2 of a negative 2 is what? One. So I get a negative 1 over 1, which equals
1.
a negative 1. So 1/2 of a negative 2 is a negative 1. What's negative 1 minus 2 then? Negative 3. Okay, are we good? I see a hand up. I don't know why.
In the equation, shouldn't it be positive 2?
Well, let's find out. Should it be a positive or a negative 2? Are you talking right here?
Yeah.
Good question.
4.
Because what do we have
never
here?
mind, never
We have a
mind.
positive 4, right? And we're dividing by a negative 2.
Yeah, never mind.
So we want to keep it a negative then? Good question though. I like where you're looking. All right. So plot our little points. First of all, looking at this one, what is our x positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive, so I hope your graph is going in the correct way. Zero, negative 2, 2, negative 1, and then what? Negative 2, negative 3? Is that about right? And your straight edge, go through it like that. Minus positive slope, perfect. Is that one good?
Yeah.
Excellent. No questions?
No.
All right, your assignment then is to do the front page and the back page of that packet.